life is really short. You're not really here for that long. I mean, if you're incredibly lucky, you get 100 years. And every decade of your life is completely different. The things you experience from your 1 to 10 are a million times different than the things you're going to experience from 40 to 50. Every decade of your life has its own challenges and its own rewards and own things that you can do in that time frame that could not only make your life better, but it can make you happier. And everyone is different. Everyone gets to experience these things differently. And the big thing is when you're a kid, not all kids, sadly, some kids go through a lot and they don't get to experience a lot of things as for being a child. But a lot of people, like, you know, from 1 to 10 is probably, there's a lot of times, like, you know, even if there's a lot of arguing in your household, even if there's a lot of fighting, even if you don't have a lot, for a lot of people, those are some of the best years because you're still learning everything. You don't understand how hard everything is yet. And you haven't really learned what's good, what's bad. And you're very ambitious. A lot of times you want things out of the world. Little things make you happier more. Like, you're not reaching for things that are harder to grasp. And you start to lose that around the time you're 10 because you start to realize how the world really works. You start to see things differently, because even if you were growing up like rough, a lot of times when you're growing up like that, you know, you're only slowly starting to see how the other side is. You don't really understand it yet. Like, to you, that's just normal. There's no comparison. And that's a big thing in life where people start to compare themselves to others and compare their life to others. See, and that's another thing. It's like, you know, some things people are going to do in their 20s that other people are going to do in their 30s. But you got to not put yourself down. You got to realize that everyone has their own journey. And just because you do things differently does not mean that you're doing them the wrong way. And it doesn't mean that, you know, you shouldn't be happy with the things that you are doing. Like, sometimes some things take longer for some people than others. And that's for all people. Like, even like emotionally and mentally, like, you know, someone who seems to have everything together, they, you know, they have their own house, they have this, they have that. They might not be emotionally equipped to deal with certain things that other people are. Just because of how someone looks on the outside you do not know what's on the inside. And a lot of times there's a lot of people that put a lot of hard work into getting what they got. But you have to do the same. I mean, you have to be willing to put in the work. But the thing is, like, life is short and it can be taken any second. So while you're working, make sure that you're working to be happy. Make sure that you are spending time being happy. If you're not spending time being happy, then you are doing something wrong. If you are not happy consistently throughout the day, at least, you know, a few hours a day, there's something you are not doing correct. I mean, a lot of times it's hard to be happy at work. It's hard to be happy with your job. And for a lot of us, you know, that's just what you have to do to get through, you know, to make a paycheck. But you should be working towards a career that does make you happy. You should be trying to step out of your spot. Like, you gotta keep on moving. You gotta try to be as happy as possible. You know, you gotta work on yourself, and you gotta try to make other people happy too, because making other people happy is a very fulfilling thing. It's just so much work that everyone has to do emotionally. But it's fulfilling. What you're doing should be fulfilling. Life is supposed to be fulfilling. There is no set purpose in life. Life has the purpose that you give it. You have to give your life purpose. And you have to decide what that is. And that's probably not going to be the same for you. It's probably not going to be the same for me. I mean, we may have same ideals. We may have similar things, but we're not going to have all the same things. But a lot of people, they want family. They want love. They want to have their own stuff and be able to, live in their own house. They want to be able to make their own rules, decide their own things. And those are all very appropriate dreams. And some people never get there because they're too worried about other things. They're chasing a paycheck. And yet, it's very important to make money, especially if you have a family. But make sure that your work is not interfering with the time that you're spending with your family. I mean, sometimes, you have to step up. You have to make sure that they have what they need. And sadly, sometimes that'll take you away from them. But if you're doing that, try to find something new. Try to find something where you're making more money, where you're doing something else that may make you happier, that gives you more time with your family. And make sure your family knows that you love them, that you care about them. You got to support them. Like, you want to be supported, support them the way that you want to be supported. Too often times, parents become emotionally distant with their children, and you want to be friends with your kids, but you also want to be a parent. You want to do both. Because, when your kids are growing up, you are all they have. You are pretty much everything. And it's important that they know that you love them, that you will always be there for them, and that they matter. And it's important that you reach out and you make sure that they have a social group outside of you, because you never know what's going to happen to you. Like I said, life is short. It can be taken from any second. So you got to make sure to be happy, and you got to make sure the people around you are happy, and that they'll be okay when you're gone. Because you could be taken away, snap of a finger, boom, gone. And if you haven't equipped the people around you to be okay without you, they will go through a really tough time. Sometimes they won't make it. There's some people that don't. They say, sometimes, deaths will cause suicides. Like, people dying will cause suicides in other people. Or someone's suicide will cause suicides. I think that years ago they called it the rule of 3. For every suicide, there's 3 suicides that come after that could have been helped because of that. But, I don't know if that's true or not. Because, I know people that committed suicide, but I don't know every person that they knew either. So you always have to understand that also, some people aren't willing to show their emotions and their feelings like others. And just because someone puts a smile on their face does not mean they're okay. It does not mean they're fine. They could be hiding something. You never know. So always, try to be nice to people. Ask people how their day's going. Ask them about how their family is. Always, ask questions. Don't overly ask questions, but make sure that they know that you're interested in them and their life. Because a human connection is so satisfying, and it just makes people happy. And some people don't get to experience that, and it's just really disappointing that some people get so closed off because of how they were treated by others. And they get to the point where they don't understand how to treat others. And sometimes people need help. And it's very satisfying to make other people happy. And for me, it makes me happy to make other people happy. I don't like making people upset. It makes me upset. But make sure that you also, don't try to make someone happy so much that you're sacrificing your own happiness. Like, every once in a while, like, oh yeah, I don't want to do that, but they're a really good friend, or they really need help. That's okay. But when it becomes like over and over and over again, and it starts to wear you down to a point where you're upset every day, then you have to take a step back, because you can't let people completely take from you. But it's important to give to people. But you always have to have your heart open and worry about other people. But you also have to make sure to take care of your own heart. But I think that's all I'm going to go into for it today. But you all have a wonderful day. I hope everyone's living life to the fullest and just having an amazing day today. Y'all take it easy.